There we go. That's better. Hi. Hi, Wermel. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, sorry. I've got a lav mic, and I'm hoping this does better. So I have an IT angel, and he sent me a new mic and a boom and like a mixer type thing, but they're not really going to work for this stream because various things. But I had this lav mic that when I came in second on America's Next Top Podcaster, I got a gift card. This is wet and annoying me. Hopefully you can't hear back too loudly. So I bought this lav mic, and I was gonna use it. I took it to Vegas for the Cover Master contest because I was helping record that one year, and I think Kev brought like a whole bunch, and so no one they didn't need mine. And I think other than testing it once, recording it at some festival, thanks. I'm glad it sounds good. I hope so. I never used it, but with the other things I received, realizing, I mean, the headset's not best because I'm tied to the computer, and it keeps me from running back and forth to the kitchen for some things. I was like, I have a lab, and he was like, maybe I could get you a lab. I'm like, you've done enough. Let me figure this out. So until this phone dies, because it is the dongle for it is lightning. So when I have to replace my phone, if I can't get something with a lightning input, I won't be able to use the lav. But for now, this seems like a really good solution. It's going to take me a little adjusting. I seem to keep redlining. I'm going to turn it down a little. Okay, so as I was saying before, I realized no one could hear me. This is the bacon that last week we cured on stream. Show you how to get it in the cure and everything. So you can see it's a lovely pork belly. When you take it out of the cure after 7 days, after flipping it every day, you put it, you wash it and you put it on a rack. You let it dry overnight before smoking it. So I dried it overnight, and these marks are from the rack and the smoker. The ones go this way for the rack it sat on in the kitchen, but it shrinks up a little. Right, you lose a little bit of weight in the process, which is fine. And then this is the first time I only use one kind of wood. I used all apple wood today. Can you see my apron? Grab your balls, it's canning season. I made this. We're not canning, obviously, but smoking, curing is a way of preserving meats. I'm going to take my rings off because I don't want to get yuck in them. Still warm, but that's fine. It's not like it's going to be giving off a bunch of juices or anything. So let me show you what I do next. And I can show you all of it because I don't have the whole, I don't have a slicer out. Part of my intention with this pork belly, I'm going to keep the trimmings. I'll do the trimmings and talk about that. And then I'll get out my slicer and I'll make slices. And we'll probably keep about a pound. And then the rest of it I'll package and vacuum seal and freeze and take over to the food pantry. Food pantry, who has been so good to us. Moving forward, I do intend to get something to bring the laptop up and so I can stand and cook and do things a little more easily. But I do kind of square it off because the slicer likes nice straight lines. My slicer isn't a full size one either, it's kind of small. So I will likely end up doing it in halves. So we'll have shorter than I used to buy in the store bacon slices. But it's absolutely fine for everyday use. And I mean, I could slice it all by hand, but that's obviously way, way harder. So here is the inside. It's a beautiful. My light's not very good. Probably this camera better. Get. Sorry, my cat is, hey. Understandably tempted. But it's got this beautiful mahogany bark. I used all apple wood this time. Not a whole ton of fat renders out, but it does change texture with the curing, and fries up gorgeously. As if you check out my Discord, there are pictures of previously made bacon. Actually, I should put the clip in there. I put a picture. Chef John Leung, he's actually streaming right now. So is Kanara, some of my favorite food streamers. But I won't be long, so I won't interfere. I showed him a picture in his Discord, and he just went off on it, being he doesn't think he had seen perfect bacon until then. And I clipped part of that. I missed the part where he said that, unfortunately, but he was just sort of going bacon. He's Canadian. They're extra excited about bacon. I am wearing my my bacon necklace from our friend Zoe, who brings the bacon. Okay, so we've got it nice and flat on all sides. Holy God, it smells good in here. And I'll let this cool. It will, on the slicer, slice easier without smearing after it's cooled down. So, let me put that aside and I'll show you what I do with these trimmings. Oh, that's right, I can keep talking. I will have. And you can let me know if I disappear when I'm in the kitchen or not. Okay, so in my house, we love carbonara. Even my super picky youngest son loves carbonara. Now, little bits of bacon are good for all kinds of things. If you're going to make a beef bourguignon, and sometimes some recipes say start with lardons or not lardons, fat back or something. You can just use this, where you render it out and then start cooking all your stuff in there. So I basically make this into a whole lot of little cubes and bits. You could also just make it into bacon bits, put it on salads, put it in stuffings. But the primary thing that happens in my house with it is I take portions of I don't know, a good pile. I don't measure, but probably maybe a half a cup each worth, and I vacuum seal them and freeze them up. And actually, let me show you the results of this. Okay, so I make these little packets. This came right out of my freezer. So whenever it's a really great last minute, we didn't have a dinner plan, or whenever we want carbonara, I end up with a bunch of these little packets and grab it out of the freezer. It's small, so it thaws in no time, and we get amazing carbonara with our homemade bacon for dinner. I'll probably do a carbonara episode. I don't think everyone knows how to make that. And it is something that, like I said, even my picky husband and child eat it. It's even lactose friendly, believe it or not, if you do it correctly. We don't always. My son adds cream to his. That's a no-no amongst Italians. But it's pretty easy, where you render down your bacon and toss warm pasta with some egg yolks, and it makes it, and Romano cheese, and it makes a nice creamy sauce. And then you toss the bacon in it. Yeah, I love carbonara, and there's a lot of rules, and of course you can do things a little differently. I like to do stuff like put a little onion in it, but my My son does not. It's funny how I first discovered it and got the recipe of all the things I never had it growing up, or at a restaurant or anything. And then, so I got arrested this one time. I didn't do it. No, I promise I didn't. I lived upstairs from a Neon shop, and there was a shop in the back of this building, and the tenant had been evicted, and the landlord gave me keys, and he asked me and my roommates to clean the place out for him. So we're getting stuff out of there, and this guy sold like costume armor, right? There was like a Princess Leia costume, of course, and like dragons, ceramic statues of dragons and all this cool shit. And for us nerds, so we had a bunch of it. We took it up to my apartment, and we were gonna the point of, I don't know, you throw it away. Well, the dude who had been evicted shows up, and I had just sent my roommates to the store because we needed some cat food and stuff. And this dude comes to the door, and I was like, oh, yeah, the landlord, so-and-so, I was like, he actually gave us a key. He told us you would, abandon it, and, I have some of your stuff, and I can get it to you. And he's like, can I come in? I said, no, you can't come in. I'm alone, and I was, 8 months pregnant. So he calls the police, and the police show up, and he comes with them, and they're like, can I come in? I said, no, I'm home alone. Can't come in. You're going to have to get a warrant or something. I've got some of the stuff, but I also, I've got a key, and I'm trying to tell a story, and this guy, the tenant, former tenant, barges his way past me. He comes up the back stairs to my back door, 3 stories up, and barges past me and starts grabbing things. And this cop follows him in. He starts grabbing things off the shelves that, came from the store. Some did, some didn't. I had to argue that a little. And he just starts throwing it in the middle of the floor, and he's like, and this is mine, and this is mine, and this is mine, and this is mine. And I'm like, holy crap. I said, can you hold on? My roommates will be back in a minute. Well, then they send this rookie cop, didn't know any better, calls for backup. So then there's 3 cop cars outside, 1 pregnant woman, and 6 or 7 cops. And I'm trying to explain what's going on while this guy is throwing all this crap in the middle of my floor. And I said, hold on a minute. And she said, did you have permission to enter? I said, yes. As a matter of fact, I can show you I have the keys. And I stood up to, already handcuffed, behind my back, while pregnant. Okay, see ya. And to go get the key, and these cops pull their guns on me. Holy mother of God. So then my roommates don't come back because they're kind of panicking they see the cops and they don't come back in, which sucked. And they're trying to do all this good cop, bad cop, they abandoned you and they know, blah, blah, blah. And frankly, we hadn't even done anything illegal, but the guy claimed that this stuff was worth a couple $1,000s, which made it a felony. And so they dragged me in. I spent a horrible night in a holding tank. And then it got straightened out because the landlord showed up and I indeed had permission. But the thing is, it's a federal charge. The landlord and the ex-tenant, they can't do anything. They can't drop charges. The state is pressing them. Which was a nightmare. I'm going to eat this piece. Because they showed up in court and tried to. Couldn't do it. And they gave me a shitty public defender. And I did end up being let go, but I had to plea deal to do, and I'm almost getting to the end of this part of the story, and I won't tell the other part. I had to do a plea deal to do community service, and when I was doing community service, I needed a good sit-down job and all that because I was pregnant, and then I had a newborn and stuff. They put me in the mayor's office in the sanitation department, answering the phone, customer service, It was a funny job having people like, oh my God, I threw out my dentures by mistake, can you find them? Stories going on all day. But there were some cookbooks in the office somebody had left there, and that's where I first found, it's like a little pasta cookbook that had the carbonara and some other recipes in it, and the carbonara one kind of stuck and became part of my repertoire ever since then. When I post the recipe, I'll post who that's by because I have transcribed it into my family recipe cookbook, but I did put their names on it. I can't tell you how good this smells. I'm liking the straight up applewood. It's less complicated than when I do cherry and apple and hickory and stuff. But just straight up delicious. And I only did a partial maple sugar, not full maple sugar in the cure. This is a really nice, well balanced bit. So look at all that. That's a lot that I'll be able to make probably at least four carbonara batches with. So the next thing I'll be starting, I'm not going to probably finish on stream, but we'll see, is I am making a duck today. Toot toot toot, I'll be right back. Alright. Stupid duck. Stupid birds. Ugh. Beautiful. It's so beautiful. Now, that went from 4 cans to 12 cans. I don't need a cutting board for this. Lay out a cloth. Okay, my youngest son, likes duck for his birthday dinner every year. I've made duck my whole life because my family likes it German style, and it's a little bit of a pain in the ass because you have to roast it and there's a lot of fat, and it renders out and you have to drain it off, and it's persnickety. So some years ago, I'm a bit of an Alton Brown fan. I love Alton Brown. I watched his show where he does his recipe Mighty Duck, and I've done it that way ever since, and I will probably never go back. This duck has been brined. You only have to brine it for like 2.5 hours. I've done it as long as overnight, and unlike with other brines, which I'll talk about, it doesn't do too much damage. So I quartered a whole duck, which is basically cut the spine out and then you cut the halves in half, break the breastbone. So we've got this piece which has, and I took the wing tips off, but the breast piece with the wing attached, and then the leg and thigh piece. I brined it. You can find his recipe online. I'll talk about that after I get these in. And then you steam it. So I got my steamer pot here, and what I'm doing is putting them up along the sides. Getting the pieces there. and you steam the duck. So this it cooks the meat through, it renders out a bunch of the fat. There's only about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of water in the bottom of this pot. So you're cooking your duck, but you end up, this is like a pasta pot with the strainer over the pot. And the wonderful, wonderful thing is you end up with duck fat in the bottom of this pot when you're done, which you can use to cook up some greens, cook your potatoes in it, whatever you want. And the duck fat is flavored because, hold on, I'm going to call up this recipe. We brine the duck in, well, a brine is a salt and water solution that basically it's a strong salt solution, but it doesn't oversalt meat because it just helps chemically the water carry into it to tenderize and carry other flavors with it. But it's orange juice, pineapple juice, some smashed garlic cloves, a bunch of peppercorns, a bunch of fresh thyme, and that's it. That's the brine. So I brine it for a couple hours, and then you steam it for, I think it's 40 minutes. Let me make sure. Yeah, 45. Alexa, set a timer for 45 minutes.
45 minutes, starting now.
Okay. Then you take your cast iron pan. Got my standard cast iron pan. It's in the other room right now. And you put it in the oven, and you put the oven at like 450. And get it good and hot. 475. And then you put the leg parts in, skin side down, and it for like 10 minutes. And then you put the breast parts in for another 7 minutes. And you pull that pan out, and you've got every quarter of that duck. The skin has crisped up beautifully. You don't have a big oil draining mess like you do when you're roasting a duck long. It's just easy and foolproof and delicious every time. We got an ad coming up in like a minute 13, so that's cool. I'll wait around till after that actually, and I don't have to put my pan in the oven yet, but I would love to, I don't know, get any other questions you might have. And I'm not going to vacuum seal that bacon on stream unless somebody wants me to. Let me know. Go to my Discord, and we'd love to hear from you. I've been getting some great feedback and great ideas for other shows and dishes to do. If you don't have a vacuum sealer and you want to know if it's worth having, I can absolutely talk about that. I've had several throughout my life, and I use them regularly. So let me know if you're interested in that, and I would be happy to do it. I should probably call up my Twitch stream. Boop. Oh, I'm so glad this lav mic works. See you in a few minutes? Oh no. Okay, these ad breaks are confusing to me. It looks like it pops up and says your ad break is starting, right? In so much time. But it's not. Apparently it's starting, and then the countdown is for when it ends. So I guess I'll repeat myself. Alton Brown's Mighty Duck. Steam it for 45 minutes. Heat up your cast iron pan in the oven to 475. You put the leg pieces in for like 10 minutes. Then you add the breast pieces, skin down both times, and leave the other ones in there for another 7. Pull it out, and you've got perfectly 4/4 of crispy, skinned, well-cooked duck, well-seasoned from the brine that it was in before you steamed it. And then while it rests, you can do something like take that duck fat you've got and whip up some greens or add it to whatever you like. Let me see, what are we having with this today? My son just wants rice, plain white rice. I would love to make a pilaf with this because with the thyme in the brine, I love a lemon thyme for a pilaf. I do intend to do a basic pilaf show and show the methodology for that because it's super useful to have with something you can just make stuff on hand. Or make with stuff on hand. People have suggested pantry dishes, one pot meals. I've now got a list. I'm making a little sheet with all the ideas that I've been receiving from all you lovely folks. And I appreciate any bits and any subs you might have. There's a few things I could really still use, like an arm for my camera, so that I get more table space to use out here. And if my phone ever dies, I don't want to have to rely on this lav. But I really appreciate the help that I've been getting so far, and definitely the suggestions. Oh, so I also wanted to tell you about I got invited to a contest. And we love our contests, right? I'm not very competitive, but I enjoy the process, and this is such a cool opportunity to hang out with my fellow food and drink streamers and meet more of them. Food and drink is really a growing category on Twitch, and I did get into the food and drink club. Yay! So I've been invited. Chef John Lung is hosting in January a contest, and it's like a bracketed competition. I don't know. And what it is we'll be answering trivia questions while cooking. So I'll be going head to head with another streamer. I guess we all co-stream. And I will be given an assignment, like a theme ahead of time. Like a meal you would make for a mob boss, or random. We'll have something we have to make, so we have a little time to get our ingredients and figure out what we're going to make. And then we go on stream. We'll have 90 minutes to make that dish while answering trivia questions. There will be penalties for, like, if we get something wrong, like we can only use tongs for a little while and things like that. The kind of cutthroat kitchen-y aspect to it. And I'm really excited. So that starts in January. We'll see how far we make it, but it's a good opportunity. You guys can find more food streamers, and I can hone my craft for the streamy stuff that I don't quite have a handle on yet. I'm learning. I'm hopefully getting better. So I guess that's it for today. Actually, a little longer than I thought I was going to go, but I got to finish up this duck and get some rice made, and I think I'm going to have a salad. I don't think my husband cares if we have any vegetables, but it's my son's birthday, so I'm going to finish his dinner. I hope you enjoyed seeing that delicious bacon, and I look forward to delivering some to the food pantry probably Tuesday by the time I get it all sliced up and frozen. But see you soon. Thanks for being here. I look forward to cooking with you soon.